Tex, it's nice that our paths have crossed once again in the entertainment world here in Las Vegas.
Well, thank you very much. You know, I've seen you work many times, but you were never greater than you were tonight.
Well, we knew you was in the audience, Tex, and we wanted to put on a little bit of extra.
Not so very long ago, just before Roy Acuff closed at the Mint in Las Vegas, and just before Tex Ritter was due to open there with his show, these two old friends found the time to use the couple of interim days to bring their long, warm friendship up to date. Now, during these visits, the Country Music Association, with its pleasures and pains, became the topic of one of their very informative bull sessions. The thoughts and ideas that both of these greats of country music was so thought-provoking and so very profound, it was suggested by interested CMA members that a microphone be placed between them in the hope that their valued opinions might clarify some of the questions you might have asked in the past. At this time, Mr. Ritter is president of the Country Music Association, and Mr. Acuff is serving on the board of directors. If you have ever asked the question, what can the Country Music Association do for me? We suggest that you listen now to Roy Acuff and Tex Ritter.
Well, you know, I've only been on the board for 2 years, but I think the organization is, about 5 years old now, isn't it?
I believe it is.
As you know, there are 9 categories: the artists, composers, managers, the bookers, the disc jockeys, and the radio owners, the record company executives, the trade publication publishers, and we have non-affiliated members.
Gene Autry, who was our president before you took office.
Yes.
Gene has done real well with country and western music, and he's proud of it, and he is certainly an outstanding person to help us make country music bigger and to carry it farther. And we need people like Gene.
Well, I think Gene opened a lot of doors for the organization last year, and he did a great job.
He certainly did, and there's a lot more to be done. When you came in as president, I think it is another great boost for country music. There are many things that you can do, many things that I can do, and many that all of us can do, and that is to try some way to get the message to everybody, making a living from country music. I know that you have just been to Nashville, and you flew back in here to Vegas today, and you've been traveling airplane and paying your own expenses and all on this, haven't you?
Well, yes.
Yeah, practically every bit of it. And I think the people should know that when they do become a member, their little $10 a year doesn't go to anyone to just throw away or ride out in airplanes and things, that many of us are giving and going to give much more of our time and more of our little money if we can continue to get it. And if CMA will continue to progress, why, it'll give me a chance to progress. I can go farther. I've got many more goals that I could reach out and get, but I can't do it by myself. As you said, it takes an organization.
Now, the question sometimes arises, why should I join CMA?
It's very easy for me to understand why I should belong to CMA, because I think it is an organization that is going to further me in my business. The booking agencies, the publishing companies, the recording companies, all those things are very, very beneficial, and CMA is doing all they can, and I know they are, to help to make these things progress and to sell more records, to write better songs, keep more writers. So it's very beneficial. I can see it more now than I could maybe when it was first organized.
We'll bring it closer to home. If through the efforts of CMA, if more work is created, each year we're getting more and more fairs, more and more clubs, more and more auditoriums. The Country Music Association, I think, it is a point now where the next few years are going to be the biggest years in the history of country music. And if more jobs are created, wouldn't you say that if they work more, that it would put more money in their pocket, if you come right down to that? We'd have had this organization when you and I started.
I would have
been a different story today.
I think it would have been much farther.
In 1961, take for instance, if you were a disc jockey, they had 81 stations. 1963, there were 134 stations that have full-time country and western music, and we're getting more all the time. I might say, if our friend Joe Allison is sitting over yonder, that the last year he made 2 trips. I think one of them was to Sacramento, one was to Seattle. helping a new station going on there with country and western music, helping them set up their programming, and it is on expense. And it's people like that that we have in Country Music Association, and I'm quite thrilled with the prospects and the future of it. Whatever benefits the whole, create more work, more radio stations, more TV, national exposure, more merchandising, even more commercials. It creates more work. And this industry has become a giant in the American show business. What we have to do, and we can only do it through organization, as Joe mentioned, this is the only chamber of commerce we have.
That's right.
And every town in America has a chamber of commerce. They must know something, the business people, from New York to Podunk. They all organize. You know, sun-kissed orange growers, they organized in the old days. So now they think if you don't feed your kid orange juice, he won't live beyond 5 years old. You remember when you were a boy, you may have had one every Christmas, you know. But the organization does that, you know. And this organization is off to a great start. And with you, Roy, as a member of the board, you know you can only serve 2 years. Then you're off.
Yeah.
I think it's a real great board of directors we have this year, and we're going to do some wonderful things. Why should I join this Country Music Association? What would it do for me? What do you think it'd do for me?
But Tex, I think it does good for everybody that has anything at all to do with country music. It's a kind of a wheel, we put it that way. And let's say that it takes us all to make this wheel. The hub is there, but we must all realize that you got to have it all to go. It takes it all. It all makes the wheel turn. I know that we have a certain field to work in, and we must try to keep it and make it larger, keep making the field bigger all the time.
Well, the best way we can make it bigger is for everybody to get behind CMA. This is an organization. You know, one of the things that kind of thrills me is we have kind of solved problems that maybe some of the other organizations haven't. And like the pop industry and the NARAS and different things, NARAS, a lot of them are beginning to wonder what we do and how we do it. And I think it's because someone has said we're more like a family, and we have very unique problems, and we've solved them, our problems. But as a corporation, as we talked about a while ago, everybody in Nashville's cooperating, the people in Hollywood's cooperating, and that's why we're making it a bigger business. This organization has done wonderful things, and we have wonderful people. I sometimes look around that board of directors meeting and just, I think I'm about the only poor one in the whole bunch. It's so successful, everyone. And you look back when you and I first started in this business, we had nothing like this at all. The organization has attracted the top people. Somebody may wonder where that $10 goes. In front of me here is possibly 10 or 15 pamphlets covering everything. Of course, we always get them done as cheap as we can. The people in Nashville help us do it, and that all costs money. As I say, we only have 2 salaries to pay. But the thing that we did last year, the executive sales organization in New York in May, we spent something like $5,000, and I think it was worth every penny of it. And just the dues alone won't quite pay all expenses. One of our fundraising things, of course, is the CMA banquet, which has become quite a thing. Now, you know, the Country Music Association, we're planning the building, as you know, in Nashville. We have been given the land by the mayor. And when you speak of fundraising things, we have our work cut out for us there. The thing in New York was not a benefit. We paid $5,000 to do it. The thing in Nashville last night was for the Chamber of Commerce. And that was very worthwhile because it's very important for this organization to have the goodwill of the business people of Nashville.
That's right.
And the governor was there, and the mayor was there. Congressman Dick Fulton, is it?
Yeah.
He was there. It is good for us because we call on these people. We call on the congressman. And we call on the senators each year during our Country Music Week. Estes Kefauver was one of the great friends of our organization that was instrumental each year in having the National Country Music Week. And the governors of the different states last year that proclaimed the National Country Music Week in their own state. Due to the death of Senator Kefauver, we didn't have a national proclamation last year as we'd had the year or two before for a couple of years. These are the people that we like to have as champions of, and it's worth something for a congressman to come to you or Governor Clements to come to you. Tex, Roy, Eddie, or whoever, if you need anything, let us know. Well, we never know when we're liable to need it.
That's right.
You understand? Well, it's a $60 million industry in Nashville alone. It's over a $100 billion industry in America.
I think that Frank Clements, as governor, is one of our strong supporters. In fact, I know that he is. The statement that he made to take country music out of Nashville would cause a recession there, and it would.
Our field and our artists and our industry is a unique industry. It's a great industry. It's something to be proud of, and there's nobody that can direct us except ourselves. The only organization we have, and we have to be organized, is the Country Music Association. What can CMA do for me? The purpose of CMA is to promote country music, to get it played and heard by people that maybe don't usually listen to it, to give them a new appreciation of it, is to get it in Madison Avenue so that we can have more exposure on national television. And I think that we should have more exposure on television. That's one of the great aims of CMA, is to get more stations to play country music. That we're doing all the time. Our radio kit has helped all country music, but as Roy has said, we should have more members. We're getting more members each day, but I would like, before this year ends, to have at least 2,000 members. The more members we have, the bigger stick we can wield. And if you love country music, this is your association, and you should belong, because, as we said before, it's the only organization that we have. It represents the 9 categories of our industry, and it is our one way of being organized. And the purpose of the organization is to help make our industry bigger, and then you will be working in a bigger business. And how can I join? Just write for an application to Country Music Association, 801 16th Avenue South, Nashville 3. You don't really need it. Just write it out. Write your name, your address, the name of your business address, your category, and send $10, and the office will send you a formal application. You can put it in later. Now, in closing, Roy, is anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, I want to really say thanks to you for coming here to Las Vegas to give me a chance to kind of chat with you and to enlighten me more about CMA. I hope that I can be a little beneficial in insisting that our membership be raised up. And you people that get to hear this, remember that we want you to be one of the organization.
Well, we're in Las Vegas. I remember it when there were 2 hotels here, but every businessman in this town joined together with the Chamber of Commerce, and they sold the story of Las Vegas. Today, there's more entertainment here than any city in the world, right here in this little town.
Correct.
And it happened by organization. Here's a little thing I'd like to read in closing, friends. It's called the CMA AIM. The purposes and aims of the Country Music Association are to promote country music in its entirety, with no selfish motives.